Nick is he went through Maxwell certification. He's a great communicator. Amy and I were never actually in business with Nick and Sham before, but we've sat at seminars and watched them speak and stuff. We've always loved to hear them teach and speak. And he sees the difference in this, and they're having great success. And on top of that, what I love about them is they're just so good at just looking at anything that they need to teach, and then they can teach it. They understand things very quickly. And we were going back and forth today about what he's going to share tonight. And I said, "Spot on, man. Let's teach it, rock and roll." So, Nick, the floor is yours, brother. Here we go.
Awesome. Um, can everybody see that? My screen? I'm not
Yep.
real fantastic at Zoom stuff, so here we go. Um, I'm just excited about what Tim has put together. This module, which he's calling launch, it's a way to launch your business. And so if you see this, and I don't know, I'm sure almost everybody on this call, maybe unless you're brand new, um, has had the experience of sharing this with somebody and then wanting to send them more information, wanting to get them, the things that you don't know how to explain, the scientific stuff and the testimony stuff, and you just don't know where to send it or where it is or how to find it, and you're texting this person and you're reaching out to this person, hey, what do I send them here? Tim has made the effort with a couple of folks to put together a one link that you can send people to get them all the information that they need to get started with this, whether it's just learn more about it so that they can get more fired up about what they just got access to, or if it's, hey, I really want to make money with this. I really want this to be a business because I don't know if any of y'all are the same way we were, but we saw this. Tim sent us more information about it. We listened, we learned, and we got more excited the more information that we got and the more it backed up what we heard. We just wanted to start sharing it with people, but we didn't know what we were talking about. I mean, I have a background maybe in sales, sort of, and Sham has a background. My wife has a background in being an administrator at a small Christian school. We don't know anything about stem cells. And so, when we were talking to people about this, it was foreign to us, but it was interesting to them. And so we wanted to get them the information. And so we put together a module that can literally launch your business. And this is the only place you have to lead someone to in order to get them started. So it's very exciting, to those of us who've been around for a minute. But he put this together, the launching pad for this business. And step one is literally just learn how this works. And so that little summary video that Tim plays on the Thursday night, that Tim and Amy played tonight, about phototherapy and how it works to get the person who just got started with this, the person that just ordered their patches, how do these patches actually work? Because you can get all this information and all of a sudden there's just a bunch of information in your head. I can't remember if they said stick something on somewhere and it works and this is amazing. Instead of that, they can actually learn by watching that video over and over again. And one of the biggest things with this is just save this link. Save it to your notes or save it to your bookmarks or your favorites or whatever Android people do. I don't know Androids. So wherever you can save this link and this be the go-to, that's what you're going to want to do is just save this link. The step two is just to get plugged in, and every Thursday this meeting happens. So you can actually direct people to this meeting. You can tune in yourself. That's what I did the first thing. When Tim and Amy showed us, Tim and Amy were the ones that showed us this. They sent us the videos that are on this link. We started learning about it and we invited people to the Thursday night meeting, to the Thursday night Zoom call, which is linked on this launching pad. And so, how I got into this meeting tonight is I went to this launching pad and hit the weekly Zoom meeting link because I was like, I want to make sure it works. So that's how I got on this meeting tonight, is by going to this link and hitting weekly Zoom meeting. So you can dial in anytime. You may be driving home from a piano recital or from a kid's soccer game or from wherever. I would still recommend that you put it on and just listen, because sometimes they have specific testimonies, different information, maybe a video that Tim has found, and it's very educational. So that weekly Zoom meeting is huge. Then when you want to start talking to people, step three is how you reach out. There's a goofy guy and his beautiful wife doing this presentation on how to reach out to people. And if you just listen to the wording, it is specific, it's directed, and it's designed so that you can get somebody involved in this information without them having a whole bunch of preconceived notions, and with having the best result for them wanting to place an order, because that's our whole goal, is lead with product and have them place a wholesale order so they can try it, because everybody, almost to a person, everybody we talk to wants to try this. And so how do we get this in front of them so that they see that in its purest form? And I just want to try this. That this how to reach out video is how you do that. And then the step four, this further learning and information, the first two, the scalpel and the define the fight podcast, are the ones we listen to first. They are revolutionary. You will listen to these and go, these people cannot be making this up. This is a surgeon who was a special operator in the military, who's interviewing a microbiologist that was a research scientist on this specific subjects. I wouldn't, if I studied 10 years of medical, I would not have the information and the knowledge that these two people have on this podcast. Then you have a health coach who was an MMA fighter and a boxer and a fitness expert interviewing the founder and the inventor of LifeWave. You literally can't there's nothing you and I could do to describe this to somebody that's better than the information on these links. And then the third link is Darlene Green, and she's a health coach, a health I don't know, consultant, stem cell therapist, who literally talks about everything from Alzheimer's to ADHD to kids with autism to people with knee injuries, chronic fatigue syndrome, and fibromyalgia, and a whole bunch of other stuff on this one podcast. So if you're wanting people to get more information and get more excited about this, this is where you lead them. One link gets them all of this information. And it was so exciting to me. And Tim and I were talking, and we were talking about what do you call this? And I think he asked some cool guy on Chat GPT. I don't know. But it came about like it's a launching pad. It is something to literally launch a business into orbit. And I started thinking about that, and I looked into, we just had this Artemis rocket go up and everybody was fired up about that. And it literally is like that, where you have all this energy going out to get a rocket up into orbit. 90% of the energy it takes to get a rocket into orbit is in the acceleration and getting it up to speed and the altitude, and to resist all the pressure that's coming back, gravitational pull, air resistance. You're going to get some of that if you start talking to people about this, just because they're people. I mean, I fix glass for a living, and I literally had somebody send me a video about that you could put mustard and salt on your on the crack in your windshield and it would fix it. Mustard and salt. And I do this for a living. So there's people that are going to tell you some powerfully dumb things. And all you need to know is what's actually true. Um, I started looking at this, and what I love about what Tim has put together with this launching pad is it's systematized. And there's a guy by the name of Michael Gerber, who's one of the #1 business consultants in the world. If you Google him, they would list him as the #1 small business guru in the world. And he wrote a book years ago called The E-Myth, where he talked about systematizing businesses. And he literally said the system, the ultimate question you want to ask about your business is, does it work? Does it work? And I happen to know from some pretty good sources that there's even just one person in LifeWave that has over 500,000 brand partners. One person. So I think it probably works. It's 30 times its growth since 2000 or 2021, 30 times, 300% growth, something like that, since 2021, since they patented the X39 patch. So it's definitely working. The question is, do you have a system around building it? And so the system runs the business, the people run the system. Michael Gerber says about systematized approach, the system integrates all the elements required to make a business work. It transforms the business into a machine, an organism that will live or die according to how well it performs its sole function, to find and keep customers. So if you and I are wanting to build a business, because I don't know how you are, but when I saw what these patches do, when I saw the testimonies, when I listened to this information, when I heard the podcast, and then when I actually saw the results for myself and my family and people that we cared about, I was like, Tim, I got to do this. That like I need to market this. This needs to be a business because this is the easiest thing I've ever had to talk about to anybody. How do I do this as a business? And what Tim was talking to me about is you have to just find and you have to keep customers. Sounds simple, right? It actually is with this. And what Tim was talking about earlier, and I started thinking about this, I've been in this industry before. And I think, to my recollection, there's no business in this industry that has started this way. Most of it is how do we have a business and then what product can we kind of cram into the business model to make it work? Because people know that this business model works to get people amped up for a little while and to get them excited about a product. And then, well, if it goes under, whatever. Lifeway started 20 plus years ago with David Schmidt contracting with the Department of Defense. And then he took that information public, and this is scientifically backed. It's one of one. There is no product like this. There is nothing. And so he started with the product and said, how's the best way to market this? That is drastically different than anything I've ever seen in this. Usually it's somebody going, I want to make money. What product can we cram in here? And he's going, I have this amazing product. How do I market it? That is so amazing to me because we have access to that. We're the ones that have the one of one. And so it's not really about anything other than how do we find and keep customers? You know how you do that? You make a list of people that you know that have stem cells. I'm thinking a bunch of you know people that have stem cells. And then you reach out to them, you show them the technology, and Tim has a brilliant video that's 17 minutes. You don't even have to show it. You just have to get Tim to show it for you on a 17-minute video. And then you help them place a wholesale order because they're all going to want to place an order. It's just that you have to help them do it. Tim told me that in the beginning. He goes, everyone's going to want to place an order. You just have to help them do it. I'm like, okay, I guess that's what we do. And then the next thing you do is you get them to the launching pad. That's it. He literally created a launching pad. So reach out, show the technology, help them place an order, get them to the launching pad. The last thing you need to understand about this is you're never going to hear the headline. NASA just had a headline that the Artemis launching pad is now in orbit. I don't know if you know this, but a launching pad never goes to orbit. A launching pad's just a foundation for the rocket. Now, Tim and Amy created this amazing foundation where we can put people on, but in order to launch a rocket or launch your business, you have to put fuel in it. You have to launch it. And the fuel is your dream and your activity. So if you'll go out there and you'll tell people about this technology and lead them to the launch pad, it will work. And I have never seen results like this. I mean, we've been in this industry before, and if I had a 50% people wanting to do this rate of anything that I talked to him about before, that's probably miracle status. Tim's probably had 100% and whatever else he did, but I did not. And I'm telling you right now, it's 80, 90% of anybody that we do it this way. Get them to the see the technology on a Zoom, get them to the launching pad, help them place a wholesale order. It works every time. So this is just a beautiful thing. If you save this launch pad in your notes, in your bookmarks, it will work. And this is all you have to do to send it to them. This is all you'll have to do.
Nice. Love it.
Fantastic
That's
job,
good.
Nick.
Good job, Nick.
Very good.
Love it. Love it. And Nick gave me credit for building this. I have to say, I didn't build this. I don't even know how to build this. Jason Kingsley actually built it. I said, "Hey, Jason, what if we did this?" And then he made all that happen. So thank you, Jason Kingsley, for putting this together and even making tweaks today. We knew we were going to have Nick teach on it tonight. And even today, I was asking Nick, could you change this, do that? He was making last minute changes. So literally building the parachute on the way down type thing. So thank you, Jason. I think he's on here somewhere tonight, but uh, anyhow, thank you, Nick. That was so good, so clear. And now we all have this tool we can all use just to help people get going. Just to reiterate again, the difference here. When you reach out to somebody, again, Nick, I know Nick's there, Amy and I are there. We don't ask somebody, "Hey, you keep your options open? You ever looking for other ways to make money?" Like none of that stuff. You don't have to say any of that. You simply say, "What do you know about stem cell technology?" That's it. And if you know they got a problem with their knee or their back or whatever, hey, I know your knee's been bothering you and your uncle's got bursitis and your Aunt Lily's got, whatever, um, issues with their sugar, then let's jump on this Zoom for 20 minutes to half an hour, depending on how many questions you have. A Zoom is so much less intrusive than going to their house. "Hey, when are you going to be home?" Then they got to vacuum, clean up, take the dirty underwear off the counter, all that stuff. You don't have to worry about it with a Zoom. They can turn their camera away from their dirty underwear, right? And they can give you the good background. So anyhow, a Zoom is really simple. If you don't know how to do a Zoom, we can teach you how to do it. But I'm just telling you, it is super simple. I just had a guy today, Peter, I think he's on here somewhere. Peter texted me and said, "Hey, I just showed this 17-minute video." He had been showing the plan, showing the presentation, which is fine. You can do that. But I encouraged the leaders the other night. I said, if you show this 17-minute video, what it does is the person watching it says to themselves subconsciously, "Wow, I can do that. I can push play. I don't have to be a speaker like Nick is. I can just push play. I can do that. I can share this with my friends." And it's not weird. I'm not talking to them about a business opportunity. All I'm doing is playing this video about these stem cells, and I'm an order taker. So if you can be an order taker and then send them this module that Nick just said and invite them to Thursday night, that's really what we do. It really is that simple. And that's why we're seeing this grow so much. Okay? So easy